Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Paradoxic, and we are back with some more amazing, astonishing, spectacular, marvelous Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah, very excited to be getting back into this. Very excited. Like I said before, season 5, part 1, no, but episode 1, part 1, easily more like what like at least like as of so far at least with like easily one of my favorite openings of a season of this show at all. Just so much done right, and the kind of the literal perfect way to start off a series with this kind of rumored and kind of speculated kind of magnitude and scale and everything, because this season definitely feels like it's really going to go in different directions, and it's going to go in like just like in really big places, and it's going to be set in space now, so they really are upping the ante with this one, so I really cannot wait to get further into this. um so yeah, we had I think the entire episode was just hectic from start to finish, with nothing being known at all, and definitely kind of pulling you into the same story that the agents themselves are being pulled into. Like they were apart from Fitz, everyone had been picked up by some mysterious bald Men in Black dude who liked to rip off his skin in the bathroom, presumably painlessly, only to put new skin on and then dress up as an actual Man in Black and everything, and then he kidnapped them from the diner because they were on some kind of list, but Fitz wasn't, so he left him behind. Then they were taken to a room with yet another monolith, but this monolith was a different one because it had the power to send them through time, which it did. It pushed them God knows how many years into the future, but far enough into the future for it to be like a drastically different kind of universe that they were actually in. Potentially even literally, but probably just same universe, just like a completely different kind of point in the timeline, just years and years and years ahead, possibly decades, maybe almost a century, because some of the kind of different time points that Deke himself mentioned, still counted for his time, but then not so much for their time, so still kind of like literal eons into the future when all the stuff that happened had been possible. Earth has been destroyed. Saying destroyed would be, I feel like it would be an understatement, because I think, if you saw it being destroyed, you'd think that there was still something left. You'd think maybe that, technically there is, but it's like saying it's uninhabitable would be an understatement. Saying it's uninhabitable would be an understatement. It's destroyed to the point where you can see the core, or if you can see what's left of the core, because even half of the core of the Earth is gone. Like half of the core is gone. It looks like I don't even. It looks like the smallest possible version of itself that it can be. It's been just kind of just wiped out, and the surface looks so kind of eerily the same almost in certain areas, but then still the same, and it's like it's just been wiped down. It's been so clearly devastated by whatever disaster or invasion that befell it, and then humanity, I think, probably before or during that disaster, humanity decided to actually build a space station in Earth's orbit and then evacuate to there. But then we don't know where the other humans are, or how many humans are even left in this particular day and age. So whole lot of questions that need answering. So that's happened. The Kree have invaded. The Kree have returned. The Kree have returned to us in this season, and they have also, I mean, whether or not they've invaded, I feel like it's maybe like a bit of a question, like if they actually took over, or if they just kind of came on board and started doing their own thing, or which I guess would still count as invading, but they are also now inhabiting the space station along with the agents and Deke, and I really don't know if there are any other kind of humans left on board that Deke knows about, or if he's still in contact with them. But then the two dudes that he was in contact with, especially Virgil, are now both dead thanks to the Vrel Nexians, the water draining alien monsters on the ship now. So that's a thing. So yeah, the Kree are back. The Kree are on board, and they've been doing stuff. They've been doing some stuff actually. They have like a training ground, and they kind of just hunt and possibly kill and train and have gladiator matches and everything. So they're doing their thing. So that's cool. And Fitz, yeah. So Fitz wasn't taken. So I think we really don't know like exactly what kind of journey he's on, but he has left them one message on the back of a postcard that was hidden in Virgil's pocket, which said working on it, and then a little kind of signage by him. So he is whatever it is he's working on, he is working on it, and presumably with the utmost kind of haste and determination to actually get back to his team and to his lovely girlfriend Gemma Simmons, biochemistry and everything. So he is working on it. He is doing something. So hopefully he meets up with them soon. Hopefully he can actually meet up with them soon and reunite with Gemma and stuff. And he can explain exactly what happened and what he did and what he knows about the time from whence he came. I think because I feel like with how far they've traveled, there is pretty much no way for him to reunite them. There's pretty much no way for him to reunite with them without doing a little bit of time traveling himself. I feel like he must have had to do a bit of time traveling himself. So, and he's had experience with tracking down and hunting down monoliths before. We know this. It spawned one of the beautiful kind of romance moments in the series as a whole. So, he tracked down one monolith before. He will be damned if he, if he lets anything stop him from tracking down a time monolith too. So yeah, hopefully he gets back to us soon and he has a hell of a story to tell us. So there's him too. There's him, and then there's Deke as well. There's Deke, the hotter Star-Lord of the MCU, which I will not be taking any arguments for. But he was actually kind of given a kind of co-partner job by Virgil of actually transporting humans, of transporting the agents. I think just on and off the ship, or through the ship or something. So he was actually given that kind of job and stuff like that. And I think Virgil didn't really kind of give him too many details. He just said oh, there's a group of people coming and I need your help to get them somewhere safe and to get them to where they need to be. He didn't really tell them about they were not from this time, so that they didn't have metrics or any of the any of the other futuristic stuff that people nowadays have. So he he kind of spotted by the end, in his chat with Coulson, he kind of determined by the end okay, then it's not just that they're not from around here, they're really not from around here. They're not even from anywhere near this kind of point in the timeline. So they really need to be caught up to speed and be told the truth and everything. So yeah, crazy ride. So yeah, we met Deke, who I presume might be maybe joining the team in some way, or maybe kind of just becoming maybe just kind of being involved in this kind of first season. But I think he seems like too cool of a character to let go instantly. He's really starting to grow on me and everything. So it would suck if I had to actually say goodbye to him in this part 2. If he's only here for part 1 and part 2, and then we have to say goodbye to him or something. So I'm hoping he sticks around at least for a little while, a few episodes or something. So then we can actually really get to know him and have him kind of working with the team. He's despite the fighting and despite the kind of occasional clashing, he seems to kind of get along with them, and hopefully this part 2 kind of really exemplifies that. So yeah, Deke is cool. So yeah, that's pretty much but I mean, overall it's a great part 1. Again, a really well written, really well introduced for kind of part 1, just full of tension and anxiety and just exploration and just just no one really knowing what the fuck was going on. So both for once, both the characters and us as the audience were kind of in sync from start to finish. So yeah, so that's that. And one other thing I actually forgot to mention, or I'm not really forgot, kind of forgot, I actually didn't really kind of realize this until a couple of days after I saw the first episode, is that now, because they've traveled into the future, I do wonder now if that means that that kind of affects the TV show's synchronicity with the mainstream MCU timeline, with the actual movie timeline too. Because I think from season 1 to 4, up until now, they've kind of had done their fair share of actually connecting to the movies, both kind of material wise and reference wise and all sorts of stuff like that. So I think up until now, that's been the case. But now, because they've traveled so far into the future, now you can't. I mean, you probably can't help but question, okay, what happened to the Avengers? What happened to all the heroes on Earth? Are they dead? Did they move? Is this because they lost some kind of major war? I mean, the only one I think you can probably really think of is Infinity War, because I think that would be the next one. Based off of what they actually had going on in season 4 too. I think the next one going in would probably be leading up to Infinity War at least. So then this seeing this would be oh my god, the Avengers really fucking lost, they really lost against Thanos. He doesn't, I mean, he doesn't blow planets up unless he has to, but then even then, like, his main MO is just like wiping out half the population and then moving on and doing the same thing until he gets the stones. Then he can do it all in one fell swoop. So with this one, it's like, wow, did he just get like super duper pissed off and just destroy Earth for the fun of it? Or, I mean, it's what Endgame Thanos would have done. And Endgame Thanos, who got so pissed off because the Avengers were trying to undo his work, definitely would have actually, he literally said he would shred the universe down to its last atom and all that kind of crap. So that is exactly something that Endgame Thanos would do. So maybe we got him early. Maybe we actually ended up getting him somehow in Infinity War. But I don't know. I think this only. I think maybe, especially if you were watching it back then live too, maybe you would think that too. Like, oh wow, like Infinity War is like the next kind of big movie to come up. So maybe this is like some kind of teaser or hint for that. Like, oh wow, like the Avengers really lose and everyone dies and Earth dies and stuff. So I don't know, but I think it definitely got me thinking after watching that episode, like, okay, so what, like, I think, because like naturally I was kind of thinking like, okay, what movie would actually come up in reference to the season then? And I was thinking like, wait, they've traveled into the future, but they're like, not just the future, but like so many years into the future. So like can they still reference any of the movies? Can they still talk about the Avengers? Or, and I mean, they might question what happened to them. They naturally might question what happened to the Avengers or to, whoever. I mean, the Avengers are pretty much the only team they know. I don't know if they'd actually, reference like the Defenders or Spider-Man, like any of those street level people. I mean, Spider-Man was with the Avengers, but still, like, I think the Avengers would be the main people that actually, at least SHIELD would reference. So yeah, I don't know, but it will be interesting to see if that does come up and how it comes up and how they address it. So if they do address it at all, but I guess I think on the other hand, though, I think this one, like, actually, like this really kind of gives off the vibe of them going their own way too, like them traveling, them actually changing the story up so that the team is sent years and years into the future. Kind of really kind of gives off the whole. Okay, we've given you 4 seasons so far of SHIELD connected to the larger MCU, but now we've got some plans of our own, and now we're gonna really kind of try and solidify, try and make SHIELD more independent and that much more kind of well solidified on their own 2 feet, and actually show like, okay, like even without references or even without acknowledgement of the larger MCU, we can still make a great fucking season. So I very much look forward to seeing how it goes either way and seeing what happens. So it should be fun. It should be very, very fun. So here we are with Orientation Part 2, episode number 2. I believe it's called Orientation Part 2. So yeah, that is pretty much all I've got from the first one. So on to the onto episode number 2, onto the reaction. And you guys know the deal by now. This one is just a fair use version, but the full-length one, for those of you who are interested, is going to be over on Patreon. So you can go catch that over there. You just need your own copy of the episode from Disney Plus or wherever. I think mostly it's all on Disney Plus now, so you just need your own copy of the episode from there, and you can sync it up and it'll be good to go. So yeah, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. season number 5, episode number 2. Let's go. Such a good shot. That is such like as a visual effect and as like an actual like framing and like a landscape thing or like a spacescape thing, is such a good shot. Such a good shot. Seriously, the VFX team on this show knows no bounds. They know no bounds. What did I just say? What the fuck did I just say? Oh god.
We don't want to hit that.
Is it all just I mean, the debris field has to be chunks of Earth, right? The debris field has to be chunks of Earth.
First rule of IT.
Turn it off and on again. Turn it off and on again. Yeah. God, that has to be a chunk of Earth. All this debris has to be just chunks of chunks of Earth. Yeah. Oh god. Oh, I love this new title sequence. I love this new title sequence. Yeah. As much as I miss the Earth logo, the SHIELD logo, I love this. Yeah.
We need to stay alive.
Oh, and you all want me to help you with that?
It would be a great help. It would be a great help, Deke.
All I can offer you is
Virgil's gone.
Yeah. Hi, Tess. Sorry for your loss.
Virgil said you'd be agents of
S.H.I.E.L.D. Pleased to meet you.
Yeah.
Then there should be more of you.
I love that's what they actually call them too, not just SHIELD agents or SHIELD or whatever.
All you really know is the planet was torn apart. Some cataclysmic event. And the Blues showed up, restored order, It destroyed all historical data, files, books.
They erased Earth's
They're
history?
just focused on the future.
Oh,
Now they
jeez.
oversee everything that's left. It's called the Lighthouse. Back when Earth was around, this was an
The
underground survival
Lighthouse.
bunker. This is the exchange. Some of the elders swore that a group called S.H.I.E.L.D. would come from the past to help us.
The elders.
Talk to these elders
Who are
That
the
would be nice.
elders?
But the beliefs got
Older
rid of
S.H.I.E.L.D.
anyone who
agents?
believed in the
Older
movement.
S.H.I.E.L.D.
Sent us to
ancestors?
the roaches.
to kill the belief.
And it worked. Only Virgil held out hope, and everybody thought that he was
R.I.P.
the
elders.
Keep your head down, do what the others do, you'll be fine.
Espionage. Simple. That's basic S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff. Basic S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff.
How'd you make that much air?
We didn't make it. It was just.
Technically, the trees made it.
You've never
We
been
planted
in a
trees and
place
they made
without
it.
4 walls, have you?
What about all the dangers? Earthquakes, floods, Sharknados. Feels safer inside, no?
Okay, hold up. The whole Sharknado thing? That's just entertainment.
Yeah.
There's a shark inside a tornado.
They wouldn't. It's fiction. A movie.
Oh, Sharknado.
Like I said, we have pieces.
Because I'm not doing this every time we take out a Kree.
The system is no more dead Kree. We're 2 past maximum. Hopefully the bodies are still warm enough for the roaches to take them. Daisy? Pretty name, like the flower.
Does that line work in the future?
Oh, see, Deke has taste.
I guess not.
Deke has taste and a little bit of a crush.
Virgil loved his artifacts.
You should have seen my office.
Like Candyland. Does he have like old Earth artifacts too?
Singing in the rain.
He has a Singing in the Rain poster? Or no, like an umbrella? Oh, okay. He has an umbrella.
But you fear Sharknadoes.
Yeah, she saw Shark. I still can't believe she actually saw
They're at the
Sharknadoes.
surface of the planet.
He has a Santa Claus. Oh, and he has plants.
Said the world might look this way again someday.
Ah, a globe.
Crazy,
A
right?
mini globe.
But he was right about you guys. Think it's important?
Important enough to hide. Virgil's
Graphs,
only had
data.
answers. Just wish we'd spent more time with him.
Was he running experiments? Or running numbers on something? Trying to calculate exactly when they would come? Maybe he was told that they would come, but not when, so he had to try and calculate it.
Somewhere out there, he's still fighting. But from our reference point, he's lived his life.
No,
Or
Simmons.
not.
Simmons. He's not dead. You can't tell me he's like an old senior citizen now.
Today, Kasius has seen fit to feed the most
Kasius.
vulnerable amongst us.
We've hit the North Korean dictator level of creepy.
Oh, yeah. Okay, very, very controlled and oppressive environment, yeah. Oh, Jesus. This is how they feed them? This is how they feed them? What are they feeding them? Oh. Oh, gee. Oh, no. Oh. He killed the human servant of the Kree. Oh, whoa. Oh! They just caved his head in! They literally just caved his head in!
I'm sorry about this next part.
Oh, it's gonna sting. That's gonna hurt. She's helping him. She is helping him. Oh no, what's gonna... What, are they taking her? They taking her? Did they... Do they see value in her because she tried to save her life, or... Or what? Oh god, those things can cave your freaking head in. Just full on levitating metal balls.
Deke, he seems to have this place dialed in. He might know.
He's too afraid of making noises.
Yeah, but that's because he's protecting himself. He's a scam up and running.
We're gonna blow it for him.
Those tablets could have intel.
Hello? Yo. Leave.
Get them to blend in.
What exactly does Deke have to lose though? Besides, I mean, is it like a general thing, or does he actually have some other kind of more specific ulterior motive in mind?
Someplace I've never been.
The upper Kree levels. Wow, what? Jeez, it already looks so lavish. It already looks so like they have towels. These space mofos have towels.
Kasius welcomes you to his suites.
Kasius, you luxurious motherfucker.
Tell me how the injured man is doing.
You're gonna give it a special Kree soap like GH325 or something? Oh god. Oh yeah, those balls. Yeah, they can kill.
Even Hala.
Kasius. Hala. Captain Marvel, the planet of the Kree. This is Kasius.
So,
Not at all what I expected.
you're the one who saved the life.
Not at all what I expected. Huh. Yeah, I was expecting a lot more of like a Attila the Attila the Hun looking guy. I was expecting a lot more of Attila the Hun. Not that. But hey, the looks can be deceiving. He may as well be the most ruthless dictator that the galaxy's ever seen, besides from Ronan. Yeah. Oh, secret door. Secret door. Yes. Secret door. What the hell? The Kree doesn't know about this place.
Talk about protecting people and you're worried about your speakeasy.
Whoa. Daisy? 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 That music, no way. No way. That's framework music.
I'm in a framework program.
She's in a framework. Oh, that's the framework music. Deke's in a framework too? There's still a framework somehow?
I only did what I thought would make you happiest in the end.
That is the superior answer to any question, really. Your metric, it's gone.
Yeah, no
I
metrics.
removed it.
No scar
No
either.
scar.
She's just that good. She is just that good, buddy.
Pristine canvas.
Well, she's just that good with her healing. She's, you know, the super healer.
Either Coulson's gonna release hot steam or raw sewage. Either way, it'll get attention.
But one of them's gonna smell really, really bad, and the other one's gonna hurt really, really bad. Okay, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt.
And go.
And go.
You should see your go face. It's so emotional. Left.
Oh, she's
They're showing off.
Baby, you got it. Flaunt it.
absolutely. You flaunt that super speed like it's the last thing left in the world. I love it. I love it. That's my girl. That's one of my girls.
You programmed me to.
Really? Because I don't remember programming you to talk back to me.
He programmed the framework.
It was a
This
joke.
framework.
I did program you to
Deke
talk.
programmed this framework. He can
frank,
program
please,
for a
please.
framework.
You got too close to my transmitters when you were stalking me.
I thought it was touching the drapes. The
Let me see
drapes
your
literally
racket.
had a thing.
You're
No, it's the transmitters.
Pimping out
Yeah.
framework.
I never called it that, but yeah.
Oh, well, that's what it is, buddy.
That's the technology the hardware interface is based on.
Yeah. Oh, he inspired by the
I
framework.
had to rebuild the software from scratch because Kasius had the historical archives erased. I can't get real opium, so I'm selling Escape. The other way out of
Escapism.
here is the final exit.
They're trading one prison for another.
You think the Lighthouse is a prison? Prison would be nice.
Oh, jeez, that is a good line. That is such a good line, and most likely true. Most very likely true. Oh god, the music is so good. Music is so good.
Then they owe a life. Their
Oh,
own, or someone else's.
this can't be like a life taken, a life spent, a life earned. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Red metrics. Oh, so they have to kill the red metrics? They have to they have to kill the red metrics. Oh. Oh god. It's like the Hunger Games. Oh.
We make sure they find you first.
Oh, you smug bastard. Oh, Jesus. They were right, metrics were a bad idea. Oh god, oh. Oh, Jesus. So I think the red metrics have to kill each other as well. The red metrics actively have to kill each
Don't
other.
leave us here to die. You and me are gonna have a conversation.
Oh, I look forward to that conversation.
He strung you up for me? That's twisted.
It is. Oh, there, yes, Melinda. Oh, there we go. Oh, tell me her leg is okay. Tell me her leg is still okay. Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, she can throw dudes into walls now. Oh. Oh,
You
Tess.
didn't have to die. Somebody did.
Oh god. So they have to die. They have no choice but to die. I mean, it's true. They don't have to die. Like, it's literally innocent people being.
Preserve humanity.
Yeah, it's innocent people being forced to kill each other in order to survive.
Feels like they lost it a long time ago.
They're trying to force. They're trying to preserve material humanity, not spiritual humanity.
My servitors must symbolize perfection when they represent.
Oh, he wants Gemma, doesn't he? He's gonna want Gemma. I mean, he's not wrong, but he's gonna want Gemma.
Perhaps with his tunic on, no one will notice. This, however.
Oh, the scar on his head.
No, that can be minimized. No one will notice.
I will notice.
It's a minuscule cut.
On the man's face.
Oh, this one's gonna die.
I'm sorry.
Is he gonna get the head crushing ball thingy? Oh, he's gonna get the head crushing ball thingy. Oh, oh, not even through the heart, not even through the head, just the chest. Through the chest. Oh, just sent it right through his heart. Oh. Oh, you are one son, holy asshole. Oh, aye, silver thing. I already don't like this guy. Oh, she's deaf. Oh, she's gone deaf. Oh, that is, oh. Oh, she's gone deaf. So they're gonna turn her into a servitor. They're gonna turn her into one of those
The Kree have
gold
her.
forehead things.
You can't help her.
I mean, do the Kree even know about this operation? Because
Of course they know about it. They're crazy about it because I'm improving people's lives.
They're okay
I'm
with
giving them
this,
something
really?
Other than just hour after hour of endless grind. All over the
don't
place.
rock the boat.
No,
It's
the
so
boat
wrong.
sank. Do you understand that? We are a breath away from extinction. We make one wrong move, and in a blink, mankind is gone for good.
This is a very, very different time. Shield Agent Daisy Johnson.
That's what I'm looking for. That!
Shield Agent Daisy Johnson. Quake.
You say you're not dangerous.
So you know who I am.
That doesn't make her dangerous. Yeah, Quake. She didn't quake the earth.
One person that's pieced the history together who has an idea what happened. If you want to know what kind of force can tear a planet
Okay,
apart,
Deke, don't you dare even fucking go there.
it was you.
I'm sorry, you're telling me no.
You think if you work hard enough,
No.
surrender to it and make this your home just the way it is.
Oh, they're goldenizing her. They're turning into a servitor. Oh god. Oh, she looks great in gold. She looks great in gold.
Tried to save the world, and you want to see the consequences?
Oh god.
You see an Earth that can be saved? It's already been quaked apart.
Oh, you can't be serious. No way did Daisy do this. No way. I mean, like, no way would she do that. Could she? If she was evil, yes. But she's not, so she wouldn't. There is no way that would happen.
Just in time for my guests.
Your guests. What guests do you have? Other Kree? Other Kree from Hala? He has guests. Oh, good god. Oh, god. Oh, Jesus. Damn, that was a hell of part 2. That was an equally good conclusion as we got with the introduction. That was a much more fleshed out, like that definitely gave us like quite a few answers as it should have done, and it accomplished everything it tried to do in that sense. Don't fall, please don't fall. It's too much of a mess. So yeah, damn, just a lot of information, So I think, so where do I begin? Where do I begin with part number 2 of orientation? So, kind of like a relatively small detail. So, the bunker, the space station built by humans is called the Lighthouse. It's called the Lighthouse, which is a cool name. I think the part they were in specifically was called the exchange room or something, or like the exchange or something. So it was like more like a hub of all the humans kind of living and working and doing all that kind of stuff. I think we haven't really seen, like, besides from Deke's secret kind of framework bunker, we haven't really seen many kind of many actual kind of quarters, and also Virgil's room too. We haven't really seen very many chambers or quarters or anything. So there's not really been much of that, but I think it's the Lighthouse originally built by humans for humans. I'm pretty sure, because I think last episode he did mention that, you know, like the Kree didn't build it, that they invaded it, but they didn't build it, but the humans built it. So made by humans for humans, and then the Kree showed up after the Earth's destruction, after the Earth was destroyed, and the humans had actually moved into the bunker, or the remaining humans had moved into the bunker. The Kree decided to move in as well, or at least like a small sect of them, but enough of them to actually overpower the station and to actually kind of inflict their new rule and their new kind of, their new regime and everything. So they moved in and started implementing their own rules and decided to start telling humans how to live. So very, very dictatorial, very, very kind of like a very, very oppressive kind of government. Even I think it was Gemma mentioning, oh yeah, like a very, very like North Korean like style kind of like society and the stuff that they're actually kind of running in that sense. So there was that. But yes, and then so the Kree showed up, and yeah, and I think they also I think her reference to that was also in reference, like her response, like that response from her was also in reference to Tess telling them that, when the Kree moved in, not only did they instill their own rules and force the humans to obey them, but they also erased all of Earth's history and any kind of historical records, any media, pop culture, news, so like not any kind of like history or like knowledge of Earth. They actually like all the records. I mean, they couldn't really kind of erase minds that way, but they could definitely kind of erase any further kind of education in that sense. So they actually erased all the actual records and everything, so nothing could really be found that easily. So I think maybe even in that sense, then maybe everything that they could find, they did. I think because I think they would definitely have to do a thing where they would actually round everything up one by one and then do it instead of actually going around just randomly scavenging for things. So then because of that, I think over time they would accumulate collect all these items, and then people would start picking up like the hint of what they were doing, and then some people might be desperate to preserve at least something, so they might try and hide different things, so then the Kree wouldn't find them, so that would explain why some things like why some knowledge is definitely kind of still visible, like Deke's knowledge of the framework, and even Tess kind of somewhat being aware of like rain and weather and stuff like that, but they're not really kind of knowing exactly what it is, or even what like what life on the ground on Earth is like either. And like Deke was born here. So I think him and Virgil and Tess all seem like they're like relatively like the same age too. So I think it's safe to say they were born here too. So Deke was literally born in the Lighthouse. Deke was born on the Lighthouse. He was born on the Lighthouse. So he has never known a life outside of like an actual destroyed Earth, where the humans are living. So that's why he doesn't know what a skylight is. That's why he doesn't know what a skylight is. So there's that. And I think I think Gemma's kind of reference to like the whole North Korea thing. I think did definitely make sense, because I think even there, like it's like the media and like all like knowledge and like everything there is very very controlled by the government itself, and it's like you don't know anything that the government doesn't want you to know, and you only know things that the government does want you to know, and then as a result, your perspective of the world and the world around you and your society is actually filtered and controlled exclusively by them. So with the Kree, they, like, under the guise of wanting to preserve humanity and wanting them to focus on the future, they create the future. Like, they want them to focus on the future that they create. So they actually create a future where this is how things are done, and everyone follows in their rule, and then they obey all these insane orders and do all these insane things like the renewal stuff, and then that's how humans then learn to survive, and that's what humans then learn that the newest form of survival is. So yeah. And I mean, in that sense too, in terms of story and theme too, it seems like season 4 and 5, like, definitely, so like season 4 especially because of like all the stuff they explored in all 3 arcs, but then it seems like now it's like this, like season 4 onwards seems like that's the part of the show where when it was airing live they got bumped up to the latest a lot, so then that definitely gives them the time to actually allow for deeper stuff. Like, not to say that earlier stuff wasn't dark. Like season 1 to 3 definitely had mature moments and darker elements and darker themes that really kind of made you step back and take a deep breath. But then with this one, it's like they're being a lot more blatant, and it's like, not at all kind of not at all preachy or on the like maybe on the nose a bit, but then it's like it's on the nose in a way that makes you think like, oh yeah, that's what they okay, that's a really cheeky little reference there, but then it also really makes sense, but it's not like preachy or whatever. But now it's like with this one, it's like, because like then it's not just like a passing reference with no evidence or no visual proof. It's like even the what they show you just shows just how deep in intergalactic shit humanity actually is in at this point. So the Kree are not here to play. They're not here to really play nice. They're here to make you like play under their rule and to actually make sure that you follow their orders. Like they didn't come along to actually provide sustenance or good health or maintenance. 'Cause, like they literally have one level on the bunker itself. That in the lighthouse there's actually like one level which is the much higher luxurious quarters, which is Kasius, and then everything else underneath him is literally just kind of like an underground kind of, you know, underground floors which are designated for humans to do with as they please, and they keep it as clean as they please, and then they work and earn their keep and everything. So he literally came along and just colonized the lighthouse essentially, like the Kree essentially came along and colonized the lighthouse and stuff like that. So that kind of theme, that kind of story as well, like actually humans themselves actually like building themselves a shelter in space only to have it colonized by the other by other aliens and stuff. And it's like, you know, like the thing is, right, I think it's like it's easy to kind of point that out as like the Kree being villainous and like actually trying to paint aliens in a bad light. I feel like it might be an easier way to actually point aliens in a bad light and to actually put like, oh, like it's that kind of story too. But then it's like not really. It just shows like the Kree themselves actually being there. And I think even in Captain Marvel, we saw exactly how corrupt the Kree were. Like the like there being Skrull refugees on the actual Skrull refugees from the Kree versus the Skrull war on the other planet, and then the Kree was still kind of wiping them out and taking them out and taking them in and everything and punishing them. So like in Captain Marvel itself, we saw just how corrupt the Kree were, and even kidnapping Carol and wiping her memories and brainwashing her to be one of them and to be as ruthless as them, and even teaching her that, you know, oh, like the Skrulls are the enemy, like no matter what you do, any of them you come across, you take them in or you take them out, and actually teaching her the same things, and even erasing her memories too, erasing her history and actually forcing her to focus on a future among the Kree and to actually focus on being the best Kree that she could possibly be and everything. So, you know, like the Kree are just like that too. They're like that is like control and oppression, and like that kind of you know, like that kind of like overruling is just the kind of power that they believe in, and having like power in that sense is also the kind of like lifestyle they believe in. So the Kree are just kind of like that. And I think this these two episodes, like this episode alone, kind of shows exactly what kind of society they've actually built. And everything, and all this like changed over from what the humans from what the humans said. Because I don't know if they actually established that humanity had actually still like actually built something of their own before the Kree came along. Like if they didn't really have a system before the Kree came along, or they didn't have much of one. But either way, like, you know, whatever happened, the Kree definitely came along and changed things and molded it to their own convenience. But then I think it's like at least for me, it's so far unknown as to whether or not the humans had a system at all, or if they had like a little bit of a system that they were building up before the Kree came along. And I think they call them the Blues as well. They call them the Blues. So there's that. But yeah, no, it's just like just that kind of display of their rules and their kind of procedures and the things that they make humans do to, like the way they feed them. Like they just kind of like just throw food down some kind of chute, and they have the humans fighting for it and everything. And even renewal is just like the Hunger Games, but just like, I mean, because of the brutality of it, and because of the actual kind of like every red metric for themselves kind of mentality of it. I think the Hunger Games is pretty much off the top of my head the closest kind of reference I can call. But it's like that kind of concept. It's like that kind of concept of like a life earned, a life spent. So then you live as you please, but then when you die hopefully with the kind of knowledge that, you know, you actually lived like a good and fruitful life, and then you die, and then that's it. And then in this case, it's like yeah, I think in this one, like the renewal is that, you know, like a bunch of people get red metrics, and then the red metric, I think like the red metrics have to kill each other until all the red metrics are dead too. So I think at least I think it is all the red metrics. At least I think it is all the red metrics because I honestly don't know what would happen if one of them was just so good that they just wouldn't die. Like maybe one of them was so good that they actually would manage to kill everyone else and just survive in the end. And if they still had to die, or maybe if like in that case maybe one blue metric would have to come along and actually try and take it. Because I think from based on what I saw, I mean Tess didn't have a red metric. I think to my knowledge, Tess did not have a red metric, but then she still killed the last red metric actually in the area. So then, by that logic, then if there's whoever is the last red metric standing, then either they, unless they already have injuries that they're bleeding out from, then they die either way. Then they probably just have to be killed by a blue metric or something. I do wonder maybe if blue metrics can get involved at all, or maybe if it just has to be between the red metrics. Maybe if the red metrics are the ones chosen by the Kree to kill each other, so then they have to be the ones to actually do it, or because knowing the Kree, I feel like they'd also kind of appreciate anyone who would speed up the process and actually, try and get things over and done with, or because it didn't really seem like any of the Kree were really spectating. It didn't really seem like they're actually laughing or cheering or eating Kree popcorn or whatever. It didn't really feel like they were there to actually watch any kind of gladiator match. It's just every red metric for themselves, just do whatever you can. They provided one weapon, which was a shotgun, and then that was the only weapon, but then others improvised. One guy was beaten to death with a frying pan or something, or just some object, and others kind of one of them choked another one out, and you could literally hear their necks, the neck breaking and everything. So whatever means they can. The shotgun is the kind of easy go-to, one weapon. You get one weapon and they all start fighting for it, but then the others kind of run off and try and hide, but then they still get caught. Or others use other means; they just beat each other to death or something. So it's just a bloodbath. It's a bloodbath. It's a literal red metric bloodbath. So that kind of system too of a life earned, a life spent, but then renewal is about actually kind of, I think the idea of renewal could also be that I don't know, maybe because I think it doesn't seem, I think it's already a process. It's already a process they have a name for, and it's already a process that the humans are familiar with. But then I don't know if it's if it's actually like an actual routine thing, or if it's a form of punishment maybe. If it's maybe for a form of punishment, because I think it literally did come as a result of humans starting a fight. I think that one guy picking a fight with the other guy, and then him pulling out a knife and stabbing him. He tried to stab the other guy, but then the other guy actually moved out of the way, and then the servitor got stabbed instead. So I think because of that, because of humans instigating violence in the first place, I think that Kasius actually pulled it out as an actual punishment. So if you can't learn to cooperate, then some of you then others are going to have to actually pay the price. But then one of those people might just end up being you as well. So I think it definitely kind of feels more like a form of punishment in that sense. So then and I think he even said some of you will have to die, but then whether or not you offer the life up, or I think one of the guards, I think it might have been one of the thing. I think it actually might have been the servitor. I think the servitor is the one who actually might deliver Kasius' message. So I think the servitor mentioned something about you can either give up your own life or you can give up someone else's. So yeah, so I think he said you can either give up your own life or someone else's. So I think, I don't know if that means that you kill yourself if you're a red metric, or you can actually offer someone else up as a red metric or something. So I don't know. Definitely either gonna need to rewatch that or just kind of need some time to think that over. But I think overall that whole process is just ridiculous, and it's deadly, and it's just horrifying to have to actually go through. So yeah, they're not nice people. They're not here to really play. You cooperate with them or you die. That's literally the kind of mentality and kind of rule book that they came in with. We're gonna give you a bunch of rules, and if you don't follow them, then you won't be able to live on the lighthouse. So yeah. So, I mean, in his chambers, Virgil did actually have some kind of miscellaneous kind of earth artifacts. So nothing concrete. I think nothing concrete or actual explicit stuff. But I think when Coulson mentioned Singing in the Rain, I don't think Tom Holland's thing would have been out by now. When he did his lip sync battle, by then, even when he did his lip sync battle, he started off with the red herring of Singing in the Rain, and then swiftly and my god, just gorgeously moved into Umbrella by Rihanna. To this day, I still watch that lip sync. It's just one of the most glorious things that has ever graced the internet. So thank God for one of few instances where I will say thank God for the internet. But But yeah, and even Clark Gregg had a little bit of a not like a that kind of like a shift, but he did like a really cool rendition of Toxic by Britney Spears. So yeah, Marvel has some great dancers and singers. So yeah. But either way, yeah. Anyway, when he mentioned Singing in the Rain, I thought he literally saw like an actual poster or some kind of like artwork for Singing in the Rain, but no, he just saw like an umbrella. So I thought, you know, he would have mentioned Umbrella by Rihanna, like, you know, if you, I mean, but I mean, knowing him, like Coulson being like the old man that he is, no shame in that, no shame in being an old man, but him being the older man that he is, I think he kind of he'd probably be the kind of, like, to put it lightly, kind of boomer that kind of thinks of Singing in the Rain, the classic, as opposed to the fairly more recent kind of umbrella. So he immediately saw an umbrella with holes in it and thought of that, and then so there was that. But then Virgil had like a bunch of other kind of like miscellaneous kind of artifacts. So like, yeah, like a mini globe. Like I think his story behind the mini globe too was really sweet and like so like devastating. Like he kept on telling Tess that he hoped the Earth would still, like, the Earth would actually manage to look he hoped that the Earth would actually manage to look like that again one day. Like, he actually hoped that they'd be able to actually go back to that instead of being stuck with this kind of, you know, chipped away kind of rock with nothing left on it and nothing left to do on it and stuff. So he hoped that there'd be stuff like that. And I think, yeah, Virgil's story too. So Virgil was the only true believer left. He there were elders of S.H.I.E.L.D. I mean, not elders of S.H.I.E.L.D., but there were elders on the Lighthouse who actually, elders who knew of S.H.I.E.L.D., elders who knew of S.H.I.E.L.D. more thoroughly and more fluently and more eloquently, and they knew of S.H.I.E.L.D. and they actually kind of like almost like I mean, I don't know if it can really be applied in this situation, but I think maybe almost like a religion, like they actually spread tales of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on the Lighthouse to actually try and stir up hope and to try and actually remind them, like, you know, people like the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they are our heroes, they are coming, people from the past will come to the future, and they are the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they will save us, they will rescue us, they will give us hope again and stuff. But then the Kree couldn't have that. The Kree could not have them telling them about anyone else coming from the future to try and save them or to try and change the way things were. So then I think they mentioned that the elders were actually fed alive to the roaches, to the Varanexians. So yeah, but then Virgil was the only one. I think Virgil was not only like the only one who actually still believed the stories and still spread them. Probably, I mean, I think he actually kept his head down by not spreading those tales because he saw what happened to the elders. So then I think he was also advised by Tess and Deke to, like, or at least by Tess to not, like, actually, like, go drawing attention by regurgitating that kind of stuff. But then he believed deep down he believed in all those stories and believed that S.H.I.E.L.D. would come and that, you know, they would save them and stuff. So yeah, so I mean, I can't help but wonder who the elders would have been, like, if it would have been anyone we knew, like elders of S.H.I.E.L.D. Because then again, I mentioned that I hoped that we wouldn't end up seeing, like, Fitz as some kind of super duper old man in this, like he somehow, you know, like he maybe he worked in real life so hard and so for so long that he actually did kind of reach like a more senior age, like maybe even Coulson's age or something. But then I don't know, maybe if he actually found a way to actually put himself into cryo and then handed off the rest of his work to like another team or something, so then he's been in cryo ever since and he's actually waiting to be awakened in the future and everything. Like, that would be the truth, giving him somewhat of like a Captain America story, like he works so hard that he actually does kind of age a lot more and he actually ages a lot quicker, and then he kind of does, like, he either looks like an old man or like an older man like Coulson, so he actually looks visibly older, but then he is ready to actually go into cryo to actually make sure that he can still kind of live long enough afterwards to see Gemma and see his family again. So, you know, if that is the way they go with this, holy fucking shit, I will not be ready for that. I would not be ready to see Old Man Fitz. I am not ready to actually even glimpse upon Old Man Fitz. I'm not ready for that. So yeah, I don't know in what fashion they're going to bring him back, or like how old he's going to be when they bring him back in this, but I wonder maybe if he could have been one of the. I mean, he couldn't be one of the elders, because again, they fed all the elders to the Varanexians, and they would not do that to my boy Fitz. They would not do that to my little Scottish bean. So we know that much. But But yeah, I can't help but wonder who the elders might have been, like people who knew of S.H.I.E.L.D. and people who knew about S.H.I.E.L.D. I think people with some kind of connection to S.H.I.E.L.D. maybe, or just because I can't imagine, because again, especially since the world's view of S.H.I.E.L.D., like the general population's view of S.H.I.E.L.D. since the whole Winter Soldier event has been so distorted. It's been distorted from back and forth to being a terrorist organization, to being underground, to being an alien recruiting organization, to being all these different things. Like since the Winter Soldier situation, like the world's view, the general population and like the media's view of S.H.I.E.L.D. has been so distorted and so cracked that no one, like for one thing, no one really knew what it really was meant to be anymore. But then they also kind of like, a lot of people still believed it was like a terrorist agency at heart, with all these aliens and Inhumans working for them and everything, so they didn't really know who to trust. So then I doubt that it could have been anyone from the general public or anyone who thought that way. So then like the elders were people who still believe, the elders were people who themselves believed in S.H.I.E.L.D. but then also believed in its positivity, in the work that it tried to do and the work that it succeeded in doing, albeit with cost, and it actually still believed in the fight that S.H.I.E.L.D. was fighting to win, and the kind of future that it was fighting to preserve and everything. So it kind of sucks that we'll never get to see them or get to find out who they were. But I think maybe then it's like, because again, like with that connection, like the elders of S.H.I.E.L.D. could only really do that like with that level of connections. And then because of that, like I can't help but really wonder, like, you know, like could they have been people who were really important, or people we knew, or people we have been somewhat familiar with, or could have actually kind of, you know, connected with. But then it's like now it's like, you know, I think it matters even more, because like not only were there the elders who like knew of S.H.I.E.L.D., but then the work that they were doing was actually good enough and important enough for the Kree to then actually try and get rid of them, and to try and, you know, diminish any kind of sense of hope left in the humans and everything. So yeah, so then they got rid of the elders, so then that way no one was have to tell the stories. But then Virgil believed all this time. He believed all this time. So a bit, an even bigger RIP to Virgil. So yeah, and Tess has seen. I think Tess has either seen or is aware of Sharknado. Either way, she's aware of Sharknado. So that's, yeah. I mean, I feel like when it comes to those kind of cheaper sci-fi flicks that you watch just for the fun of it, I think Sharknado definitely kind of is really up there, simply for the name and that kind of concept and everything. I haven't seen Sharknado. I think there's actually been a sequel. I think there's actually been a sequel or like a trilogy maybe. I think I heard rumors of like a third one like a couple of years back, but I think that there's definitely been like a second one. There's definitely been like an actual sequel, but whether there's been like a third one, I actually need to check out. But I think like Sharknado itself, like tornadoes happening and over water and picking up sharks and flinging them towards the sea, and that whole concept is just mind-boggling. So I've never seen Sharknado. I don't know if it goes without saying, because I think plenty of people have seen Sharknado, and then plenty of people have something to say about Sharknado, but I haven't. So to hear them referencing in this too was pretty wacky, and even Coulson having to actually clarify, like, no, it's not based on real events, it's not a real thing, it's just literally like a fiction movie that some people came up with and it gained some traction, and that was the whole thing and everything. So Sharknado was one of the few things that actually that Tess was actually aware of. So Sharknado, so I think, yeah, she didn't really know about Earth weather, like rain or sun or tornadoes or anything. She didn't really know about that, but Sharknado was the one thing she was aware of, so that's pretty cool. Then Gemma saved a man. Gemma saved the actual original servitor. Gemma saved the original servitor that was stabbed in the exchange, and she cauterized his wound and tried to heal him up again. I think when the Kree took her away after that, I figured it probably would have been like them reporting into Kasius that, oh yeah, this woman actually saved a man. She actually saved a man's life and actually took the time to actually save him and actually knew how to save him and everything, and she did it. And so I figured, like, oh, like anyone willing to preserve that. Because when that kind of stuff between her and Kasius was happening, I figured, like, oh, he'd probably appreciate her saving him the time and effort of actually choosing a new servitor. But then Kasius, we meet Kasius, and he's just, again, he's not at all what I expected. He's really not at all what I like. He doesn't really, I don't know, like he himself, he does not pass for a ruler. Like not to judge based on appearances or aesthetic too much, but I think, you know, or too much. But he really also just doesn't really have. I think I think the guy's acting, like the actual actor's performance as Kasius is what really nails it. For me, it's what really nails it, because I think if he'd like acted in any other way, I think if it wasn't him, or if he had acted any other way, then I would have easily pegged him for like, you know, Kasius' second in command, or Kasius' kind of like right hand man or something. And Kasius would actually be sounding like some big bulky dude. I was fully expecting someone like Kingpin. I was fully expecting someone like Kingpin, so like someone big and bulky and intimidating and fearsome. You know, I think I said it like Attila the Hun during the reaction, because that was the first thing that came to mind. But thinking more accurately in the Marvel universe, I was fully expecting someone like Kingpin and stuff. And then for someone like Kasius himself, like the actual guy, for Kasius actually being like the right hand man, or the one who does everything else for like the one directly below Kasius and everything. So, but no, he is Kasius. I mean, you know, hell, for all we know, he used to have a boss. For all we know, he used to have a boss that was like Kingpin, and then when that guy went down for whatever reason, Kasius then managed to actually kind of pick up from where he left off, and he became the new ruler. So I mean, for all we know, or at least for all I know, because you've already seen this, for all I know, that could be his backstory. So. I don't know, but either way, I think he's like, even if that's the case, he's definitely been in this game long enough to actually have his own presence and to have his own intimidation process and his own kind of, you know, intimidating presence as a whole. So he's clearly been in this game long enough to actually know what he's doing and to actually give off that kind of vibe. So props to him, and again, props to the actor too. He's done a solid job so far, and he just really, again, I do not like him. I do not like Kasius. I do not like him. Like, he just has that kind of, like, I think his mentality of everything being perfect, and him like over admiring and over emphasizing Gemma's kind of pristine beauty and her elegance and her perfection. I mean, he's not wrong. Gemma Simmons is a fucking godsend. She's an angel. She is proof that angels walk among us, you know. Gemma Simmons, just mwah. But, you know, still, like, you know, like, that stuff can't and should not be used to serve the likes of Kasius. It can't be used, and it shouldn't be used to serve the likes of Kasius and to serve the kind of, you know, servitor needs of Kasius, you know, and like she should not have to be dressed up like that or put to work like that in order to serve like a madman like him. So he and he also clearly doesn't care much for the people that live down there, because again, in his eyes, a life earned is a life spent and stuff. Like, you know, if when you're living your life, you better live it to like his standards and to the actual standard of actually having done something notable and something kind of worthwhile before you die. Because then when you die, then that's it. Like, he doesn't save you, and like he doesn't really let anyone save you. But then Gemma saving someone actually did intrigue him, so he wanted to meet her and everything. So, but then his usual thing is like, you know, you don't save them, you let them die with the hopeful kind of peace of mind of having lived like a fruitful life and everything. So, you know, and he kind of like over kind of emphasizes that whole kind of like especially with his mentality on like purity and beauty and elegance and like this like exquisite condition, like, and just kind of shows him to be like not even like a perfectionist, but like, you know, like for him it's like all or nothing. Like, for him it's all or nothing. Like, you have to be completely perfect from like without a scratch. Even like the scratch on the guy's face, like, you have to be completely perfect and, you know, flawless and everything, or else you either are of no use to him or you die or something. So yeah, so then he chooses Gemma. So again, he definitely he can clearly see well. He can clearly see well, and he can clearly sense that she is a woman of elegance and, you know, strong working ethic and all that kind of stuff. And she's like a woman who's capable and courageous and strong and smart and wonderful and joyful. But again, she should not have to put put those traits and those qualities to work working for someone as crazy as him. So that's my one gripe. So, you know, like for four solid seasons, she's been able to use all of that to do some great work within S.H.I.E.L.D., working alongside equally talented and like-minded and respectable kind of people, one of whom she's madly in love with, and who can fucking blame her? But, you know, but now she's working for like a literal dictator who sees her as nothing more than like a walking, talking servant and everything. So yeah, just I don't know. And he's got that one assassin woman who looks badass in her like little kind of diagonal zip up kind of dress thing. And she's a Kree, and she has those little two floating balls. I think initially, right, they reminded me of I don't know which one it is. I think it's one of the newer X-Men movies. It's like, I think it's probably Days of Future Past. It might be Days of Future Past. I think it is, like, in that one, like, he only uses it once, so it's like a one-time thing, like, because he can control, like, you know, like, magnetic fields and everything. So I think, and then, like, there's one scene where he actually uses, like, metal balls and, like levitates them around in the same way, and then he uses them to actually knock out some guards. But then this woman, she can control these balls, and she crushed that one dude's head. I think again, the gore, I think in this one, I think it's like this one wasn't as explicit as the last one. Like the last one, it literally had the Veronaxian claw thing going through Virgil's head, but with this one, like, it literally showed the visual as he was falling down, so it's like you didn't really have to look at it for too long, but like, it didn't really show it for too long, but it still made it clear, oh yeah, that dude's head just got caved in by 2 balls, so that happened. So it's like high intensity, high speed kind of balls that can, you know, just literally wreck anything in its path. And then I thought she was gonna do the same thing to the servitor dude as well, like after Kasius called for that kind of execution. But then no, she just kind of sends it flying into his chest, and it kind of probably just kind of punctures his lungs and or his heart, just literally straight through both of his chests and then back out again. So definite damage and death in that scene. So she seems cool, very, 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 very eager to kill, which I can always appreciate. But then she, you know, still seems like a fun, cool Kree assassin, so that's fun. And Deke hit on Daisy. He ever so slightly hit on Daisy. Did Deke ever so slightly hit on Daisy? I mean, he kind of tried it. That was an attempt. But whether or not that was an attempt at his full strength, at his full kind of flirtatious strength, we don't know. We don't know if that's what his actual proper flirting looks like, or if that's just something else. Like, he just kind of like pointed out, like, oh, Daisy, that's such a pretty name, like a flower, like, which is exactly my thoughts when that reveal first happened in season 2. Like, such a pretty, such a beautiful name. I, you know, vowed never to call her anything else again. She was Daisy to me from that day on. She was Daisy, and then once her surname was revealed, like Daisy Johnson, I'm in love with this woman. I am in love with this woman. So Deke, you know, he can't blame him. You can't blame him for at least trying. And you know, like Daisy very, 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 very swiftly kind of let him down to, like, oh wow, is that line really still like a thing in this day and age? Like, does it actually really work? It is actually like a tried and tested thing. And stuff, and I think his response to that would definitely kind of indicate that it was at least like a passing attempt at flirting, but maybe not him actually fully putting on the charms. Because again, like with the situation they were in, they couldn't really kind of do that. But he did kind of take the time to actually point out that, you know, oh, so such a pretty name, Daisy and Deke. That would, you know, maybe an interesting pairing, maybe not, but I guess we'll never know. But yeah, so he tried it and failed successfully. He successfully failed. That was one success there. So that was fun. But yeah, the truth behind Deke. So Deke I was right to question whether or not he had an ulterior motive. I was right to question. It's not just about him living to see another day. It's not about just him just kind of just casually surviving on the in the lighthouse, but it's also about him and his ulterior motive, his little kind of science project, which is the framework. He built a framework. I thought we left this shit behind. I mean, it was Coulson even mentioned if they ever brought that up again, then his head would literally explode. So no one mentioned the framework to Coulson. No one mentioned this new framework to Coulson. But as soon as that happened, I thought it would be like because like she was touching the drapes, and there was like such kind of like smooth kind of fading in and out of like her to the drapes to her to the drapes and everything. So I thought, oh, maybe the drapes have some kind of like chemical or some kind of thing in them that like always when you touch them you just pass out and that kind of thing. But then I think in each different room, like she passed multiple rooms with sleeping people, so I think in each room in the ceiling, like there is that kind of machine kind of transmitter thing that Deke mentioned that he built, so that those transmitters actually transmit waves within that kind of room from like behind the curtain, literally behind the curtain. That allow them to go into the framework. So it's it's kind of like how at Google, I think at Google they have those probably not just at Google, like almost any other company similar to them or any other company with that kind of work ethic, they kind of have like those nap pods, like you actually go on to like go into a room, or like go to like a specific area, like it could be as open as you want, or it could be a room, like you go to a specific area and they have like little nap pods where you can actually go in, you can just have like a nap and then you're rejuvenated and refreshed, and then you can actually go back to work after. So it ever so slightly, because of the concept of it, and because of like what those little kind of what those little kind of cubicles are actually for, and what those like individual spaces are for, because of that, it kind of reminds me of the Google Nap Pods. But and I think essentially what this one is, same. You go into a slumber and you have a dream, and then you wake up again. You come back out of the framework again. So it is essentially their take on actual nap pods, but this one is instead powered by the framework and not Google. So yeah, although with Facebook now being Meta, who knows what Google might rename itself to be in the future. So yeah, I don't know. But he built the framework. He didn't have any of the he didn't have any of the I think he said he had scraps. I think he had like scraps of information and scraps of actual kind of hardware and software and stuff, and he had like did different kind of scraps in terms of resources. But I think he didn't because the Kree erased all kind of earthly kind of knowledge and all Earth archives. He didn't have any access to the actual kind of solid OG kind of plans or the OG kind of material or resources. So he literally had to kind of mostly build it from scratch, which is impressive. I mean, relatively impressive, because I mean we are in the future now, so it'd be kind of somewhat easier to actually kind of pick things together and actually try and create something. So I think that then shows that he also knew of the framework too. I think it must have been Virgil. I think Virgil kind of having knowledge and being a true believer in Shield, he must have actually still kind of heard those stories, and he must have told him about the framework and told him about like there was a mind prison that people were trapped in and they couldn't get out, and there was like a whole new world and everything. So Deke must have taken some inspiration from that and actually thought, we could actually re-implement this in like a much less harmful way for humans. So yes, I think his framework, when that happened, I was so confused. I think it literally did not and would not hit me until the music kicked in. Because I love the framework theme. Like the framework theme is so eerie and so kind of unique and so iconic and everything like that. Like when that music came in, I was like, oh my god, it's the framework. It's the gosh darn framework. So yeah, they brought the framework back. They really brought the framework back, and Deke is the one responsible for it. So I think with his one, he has easily made it clear. He has definitely made it clear that his one is nothing like the original framework. It's nothing like the original framework, and it's also not. It's also like very little like the framework that Ada then built and enhanced using the Darkhold. So this one is literally a form of escapism. This one is a literal recreation of Earth, and it's like a literal form of escapism and everything. And it's like him actually offering people the chance to actually to at least get to get at least somewhat, because I think even he has limited Earth knowledge. So I think for him it's like people just get like a very kind of like a glimpse at what Earth life could have been like, with like the going into the bar and ordering drinks and stuff. And he even said he doesn't even know what actual beer tastes like. So even if he did order a beer, he wouldn't even know, or like he wouldn't even tell the difference or anything. So yeah, he built the framework as a way to actually allow humans who missed Earth and who missed that past and wanted to explore what life was like back then to actually to actually do it. And I would say I wonder how that would go for us. If in the real world we actually had a framework that allowed us to actually visit the past and to actually see what things were like back then. Because I think that would be because VR is one thing, but then actual VR headsets are one thing, but then actually creating using a framework AI thing to create like different kind of occasions and stuff from the past to actually teach history and everything would be the wackiest thing and like the most immersive thing. So that would be crazy. But then I think this one also, I think Deke's framework might, in that sense, might also have the kind of he might have actually tweaked it to be able to actually be a lot more safe and a lot more and a lot less harmful too. So I think presumably, if people use it for escapism, then they're clearly using it routinely, or at least on any kind of basis that they so desire. So then because of that, I think he must have been able to make it in a way that there would be no kind of adverse after effects on the brain, no brain damage or control or anything like that. And then also, no need to worry about dying in the framework, because then there's no enemies or no monsters in there to actually try and take you or convert you to Hydra or anything. So So then people literally don't have to worry about dying. They just kind of like chill out in the framework and stuff. So not a sentence I ever thought I'd say. Literally not a sentence I ever thought I'd say. People just chilling out in the framework. But with this one, that is exactly what happens. So yeah. And I think I was really curious, right, as to like how and why the Kree would condone it, because I think he did mention that the Kree were okay with it, and I think even Daisy questioned it, and I think it just kind of got me wondering, like it kind of got me wondering, like why would they be okay with that? Because then like that would remind them of what once was, and like that's exactly what the Kree fought to erase. Like the Kree erased everything that the framework was showing them. So then why would they be okay with them seeing the framework if they can't see it in real life? But then it's like, that's then that was the entire point. Like, if they can give them something to keep them occupied and to keep them kind of satisfied for the time being, the framework then gives them false hope. Like, if they can keep coming back into the framework to view this like every now and then, then they'll be that much more complacent and that much more kind of docile in the present day and actually working towards the future and everything. So then if they can get glimpses of the past every now and then in like a controlled and especially because Deke's thing isn't like 100% accurate because he doesn't know everything, so he's built it as best as he can, and he's built it in a way that in the best way he knows how. So then I think because of that, the Kree then possibly know that this isn't even like the 100% accurate version of Earth, so then everything they're getting is only really kind of like half the actual product. So then he can only really do guesswork and like his best kind of estimate as to what stuff was, like beer and like pop culture and earthly society and stuff like that. So then even what they're getting isn't the best, but then it's the best they can do for now. So that's pretty much all there is. So then because of that, because of that, they'll because of the false hope that they get, they'll probably also just be satisfied from that alone. So then after that, the Kree have less to worry about in terms of humans, whether or not humans are being subservient or if they're actually fighting back and resisting. So then if they have this, then there's less chance they resist. So then and then even like throughout this episode, both May and I think mainly May and Daisy. I think Daisy asking Daisy kind of arguing back and forth with Deke in the framework too, but then also May kind of asking Tess like you have the numbers, you have so many humans, and they have like a few Kree here and there and stuff. So then why don't you fight back and everything? But then the answer is the same. It's like in this case, it's like it's not even in this case, it's not just it's not just that resistance is futile. It's like resistance would be deadly if they fought back and things went wrong. Then humanity would be wiped out. The Kree have made that very clear with their rules, with their renewals, with the way they run things, with the messages they give, and with Kasius' kind of style and level of leadership. If they got one thing, if they messed around and even did one thing wrong, then especially Deke's kind of very, very painful and very, very kind of powerful kind of emphasis on that factor Daisy too, him saying humanity right now, things look okay now because they're actually complying, but then humanity right now is with their numbers and with the state of things and with the power that the Kree have, humanity is pretty much on the brink of destruction and on the brink of full-on extinction, with all the people that are left being on the Lighthouse and everything. So then if there's one wrong move and humanity is gone, all that's left is literally gone. So I think that kind of that speech of his too, the pain in his voice, actually trying to get that across to Daisy too, you don't understand, you think it's easy because you come from a time where you constantly fought people and you eventually won and everything, and it's back then it must have been easy, but now they don't have the luxury of planning out attacks or planning out prison breaks or resistance kind of forces anymore. They don't have the luxury of even thinking about resisting or thinking about not complying, because they have all these routine checks and all these different kind of procedures and everything. So that the Kree have control. The Kree have control, with a capital C, in this situation. So then they let the framework be a thing, and Deke knows this, and then Deke kind of treasures the framework and he uses it as best as he can to actually help people and to give people what they want and what they need, and then they go back into their kind of daily lives under the control of the Kree. So then he knows that if these new people start coming around and digging up information and drawing attention to themselves, then the cover is blown, and then the Kree destroy everything, and then the framework is gone, and then humanity is gone. and stuff. So it's just like a very I think that kind of works as a very kind of painful kind of conclusion to that side of the story too. Humans came here, then they were taken over, and now this is all they really have left. So they really can't afford to do anything that might actually cost them even more or cost them everything else. So, oh, good God, it's depressing. It's depressing. And then, yeah, that news report too. So I think he said he was actually looking for that news report, that news kind of feed on the TV of Daisy being Daisy Johnson, Agent Daisy Johnson of S.H.I.E.L.D., aka Quake. And then he was like, oh, it's you. So you really are actually dangerous. I just never knew how much and stuff. So then that kind of brings into question. And then he basically does reveal that Daisy quaked the Earth apart, so it wasn't just some kind of attack or like an invasion or anything else, but it was literally Daisy quaking the Earth apart. And it's like I refuse to believe that even for a second. I mean, she could do it. I have no doubts that she could do it with enough development and with enough time and power. Because even now, I do wonder why, if that's why they've actually been showing us the mastery over her powers recently. I think. Especially because in previous seasons, in season 4, it was it was then, and she was good with it, but now in these first couple of episodes alone, she's been doing stuff with her powers that are actually very, very clear and very, very visible kind of representations of just how good she is with her power. She can use it. She can even control the actual strength of her quakes too. She can use it to actually maneuver icicles down into chests or to do different things, and then she can actually, and then even season 4, she was doing that same kind of strength based kind of quakes too. But then even with that one too, she actually used she can use lesser strength quakes on secret doors to open those, and even using it on Simmons to prove that she's not an LMD and everything. So in recent times, there's been great displays of her actually having that much of mastery of her powers. I think I'm wondering if that's actually a tease, oh, she's actually learning how to control them now, so that way she can unleash the ultimate quake blast later on. And I mean, she semi did it in self-control with the two LMDs side by side, one of the greatest fucking scenes in this show's history. So I do wonder maybe if that's a visual tease for the audience themselves to actually start thinking about oh, maybe if she has this control, then maybe she can actually really do it. But then so then the question of whether or not she could do it isn't a question. She obviously could. She is that powerful. She's a power. So then the real question is would she do it, and why would she do it? Why would Daisy quake the Earth apart? I think even as a last resort, even as a last resort, I don't really feel like she would probably do that, because I think it's the stakes and the missions and the evils that they have faced have never come so high that she has been. The S.H.I.E.L.D. as a whole has been forced to consider actually destroying the planet in order to stop anything bad from happening. I think in that case, because then I'm wondering maybe if it's a case of Deke doesn't have the full story. Maybe she was trying to do something good and trying to do something helpful, but then either the planet ended up getting destroyed in the collateral damage, or maybe actually destroying the planet, or maybe actually destroying the planet was the last resort, and she had to do it, and that was the cost of actually saving the world. So then, it was a price that she and S.H.I.E.L.D. had to be willing to make. So then, but then Deke is kind of I think he was definitely kind of antagonistic towards her in that scene, but I think I'm not sure he was actually fully angry towards her, for what she did or for what he claims that she did, and then even his speech later on down that line too, actually talking about hope and how it's been ripped away from humanity, and this is all they have left. But then even then, even his later exclamation that you want to know what happens when S.H.I.E.L.D. tries to save the world? Look out the window, a torn apart Earth. When S.H.I.E.L.D. tries to save the world, you and your powers are what cause all this. So again, we've had 4 seasons of S.H.I.E.L.D. successfully saving the world from countless threats, and the world has not been so much as actually cracked or creased. So I mean, maybe cracked because of those kinds of incidents, but then the Earth has never been damaged that badly. So there definitely has to be some other kind of plays at work here. There definitely has to be some other kind of factors at work here that either I was about to say Duke. Hey, Liam Duke would make a great Deke. Liam Duke would make a phenomenal Deke. He would. He really, really would. Yeah. Yeah. So. But yeah, no. God damn, now I can't stop thinking about that. Liam Duke as Deke. Duke as Deke. Duke as Deke. Yeah, damn. Yeah, no, God, where was I? Where actually was I? Wow, Duke as Deke took over my mind, and now I can't, and now I just lost my original train of thought. Yeah, so either Deke does not know the true nature of, like, of whatever it was actually. Either Deke doesn't know the true nature of the quake that took apart the world, or he does know and he's omitting those details for now. Like maybe maybe right now he's just kind of like he could also be on like the less you know the better, or maybe like he just doesn't want to revisit that kind of information, so then he's kind of trying to hide it from her, or like I think presumably maybe in the next episode he might actually tell her that, oh, this is what happened and this is what you did and this is why you did it, or maybe it's like, oh, maybe that information was lost with the elders, maybe that information was actually like taken to the grave with the elders and everything, so no, like no one really knows. I think, well, I mean, Tess mentioned to May and Coulson that everyone has a different story. She mentioned everyone has a different story, so I think maybe the elders told one person, or like maybe they told one take of it, but then that person kind of told a different story, and then maybe it's been like a game of like Chinese whispers down the line. So I think like no one knows the actual true full story, but people just know that, so then maybe not everyone knows that SHIELD was involved, or that maybe no one knows that Daisy was involved as Quake and stuff. So yeah, but I think Deke just kind of knows, and he now knows that Daisy is Quake and everything, so then he just kind of assumes that, or I mean, he somehow has the innate knowledge that, that Quake was responsible for the world being destroyed and humanity moving to the Lighthouse and everything, so then I do kind of wonder if that means tensions are on the rise between him and Daisy now, because then now he's revealed that information, so now he, again, I mean, he hasn't seemed to be holding a grudge up until now. Like I think up until now his main gripe has been with the SHIELD people actually costing him his position on the Lighthouse and actually kind of ruining his plans and everything. But besides from that, there really hasn't been anything kind of worrying or anything kind of particularly kind of anything to be to actually feel particularly cautious about. So I'm not really sure on that end, but. Yeah, apparently Daisy quaked the Earth. Yeah, wow. So, So yeah, the ending too. So, Kasius has some visitors due. He has some visitors coming in on their own little spaceship, so they're going to dock soon. So I am really curious as to who's going to show up in that sense, if we're going to get any special faces, who's going to be his visitors. I think maybe other Kree from Hala, I think, I don't know if we'd be getting anyone from the movies. I don't know if we'd actually be getting any Kree that we recognize from the movies. Maybe like another collector, because I think Ronan was not the only one who looked like him. Like I think even in Captain Marvel, like there were other ships like his, and I think like there was like one other guy on his ship who looked exactly like him. So I think I wonder if he would, like, I think he might not have been the only accuser. I think there must have been other accusers, so maybe like an accuser might come, maybe one of the accusers might come and stuff. So maybe like just like more Kree people. I think Kree coming to maybe see how the Lighthouse is holding up and how the Lighthouse is doing, and how Kasius' rule over the Lighthouse is doing. So maybe more Kree and stuff, so that might be interesting to see. But yeah, he has some visitors on the way, and now his servitors have to try and put on their best act of kindness and complacence and everything, so that should be fun. And yeah, one thing I really want to gush over, the visual effects, especially in the opening, especially with the opening of this episode, like that opening kind of shot revealing the Earth again and actually rotating around the ship, and like the visuals in this show as a whole, the visual effects in this show as a whole. Oh god, just honestly some of the best VFX I've seen outside of the movies. Easily some of the absolute best work in visual effects and CGI that I have actually seen outside of the movies and stuff. It's honestly like just some of the best kind of stuff. And I think it's especially like I think them going this far too, like them going this much higher, actually going to space too, because I think before before being Earth based, they've definitely limited themselves to kind of alien appearances and like powers and everything, like actually VFXing like powers and alien appearances and alien faces and transformations and everything. So then they definitely like restrained themselves to that, but then even then they've managed to pull those off absolutely beautifully. They managed to pull those off really, really perfectly. But now with this one going through space and debris and actually creating like a believable and plausible and absolutely beautiful like space environment, just wow. Like those shots of the destroyed Earth, the shot of the ship as well, the shot of the ship from the outside, and like the debris field they're in, and like that transition from space to the inside of the ship and everything is just, my god, the VFX team on this goddamn show just have my utmost appraisal. They have my utmost appraisal. They work their asses off to make sure that this stuff works, and I promise you it works. I promise you, and I hope, and I think I can speak for the fandom when I say it works. It really works. Like, you really pull off some really amazing looking and some really good looking stuff. So hats off to the entire VFX team that works on this and who worked on this show as a whole from start to finish. So can't wait to see what else you people get up to and seeing what other cool tricks you have up your sleeve. But yeah, I just really want to mention the VFX. So yeah. So yeah, that is pretty much all I've got from this one. Pretty much all the noteworthy stuff I've got, everything I've kind of ticked off on my list, and everything I can really think of. There's some really kind of cool kind of character tidbits too, with Elena flaunting her super speed. That was always good. You know, like seeing her so proud of her abilities and seeing her flaunt them, always a welcome sight. You know, she can flaunt it, and she should flaunt it absolutely. So yeah, good to see her putting that to good use and doing some cool stuff. Now Coulson, Elena, and Mac have metrics. They have metrics now, so I think May as well. I think probably May as well, because I think Deke put hers in, so yeah, she has a metric, and now they have metrics. And then Daisy is the only one without a metric. So I think she probably needs to be sorted out, and then that'll be fine. So yeah, cool stuff going forward. So it'll be fun to see. But yeah, that is pretty much all I've got from this episode. So yeah, that was Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 5, Episode number 2. So thank you guys, as always, so much for being here and for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn that like button. Comment on what you thought of the episode and what you look forward to seeing in the coming episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 5. Once again, the full-length reaction over on Patreon, so you can go check that out over there. And yeah, that is it. So I will see you guys next time.